Hello viewers, welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we're going to be building a simple login stroke navigation page. All right, so this is an example of what we're going to be working on. We have two buttons, sign up and login. When you click on login, it navigates to the login screen. When you click on sign up, it navigates to the sign up screen, right? So we're going to build this simple UI with this navigation, which switch between the sign up and login component. So we're going to be building this with React. But meanwhile, please, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please just click on the subscribe button below to get more of our content. So I'll go to my project. We are going to start building on this, right? Okay. Okay, so this is my project. If you have not watched our content of video on building a BMI interface, you can go to one of our videos. You find it on the description of this page. So in one of our videos, we actually build. All of our videos we actually build a simple BMI UI, a BMI web page, right? And so we have a BMI web. So we're going to modify this. So in this BMI web page, you enter your height, you enter your weight, and then you click submit button to get your BMI. We have actually not worked on the logic to calculate the BMI and display to users. So, but meanwhile, this is the state of the project. So I'll go to this project. We're going to be building this login. We're going to be building this login and sign up page on the same project where we have the BMI, right? So I'll go to the project where we have the BMI, and then we'll start building our login page. So let's go back. Okay, so if you look at the project where we build our BMI, you will see that these are index app.js, which is where,
to subscribe to this channel, just click on the subscribe button below.
Houses our PMI. So we also created a Navbar component. Then using Navbar component, we also created a BMI body component, right? So if you go back to our page, this is a Navbar component. We created this Navbar component. We created the BMI body, which has inputs, 3 input and a button, and then we use this same BMI Navbar component to create our footer, right? So that's how we achieve this actual project in our BMI. Now, we want to create this project. We want to create our login and navigation screen in this project. I also have a screenshot of what it should be like, what our sign up page should be like. We have lost password. Click here. So when you click on this button, sign up, or when you click on this button, sign up or login, to navigate to the login or sign up screen based on the button you actually clicked on, right? So that's what we're trying to achieve in this page. So I will go back to our BMI, and so currently in our page, in our project, we just have a folder for components. Now I would create another folder that will hold the UI, right? So I'll call it what? Pages, right? I'm going to call this folder pages. So initially we created in our app.js, that's when we build our parents UI. So we want to change our pattern of building and then create this parent UI in our page folder. So I'll come here and create as a BMI.js. So BMI.js. So if I come to our app.js, so everything we have in our app, all the UIs we have in our app.js, which we created. I mean this, you can see. So if I come here, if I come to our index.js, for example, if I see we're calling the app, we're calling app.js, right? So this was where we created our style. thing for. Okay, so let's go back to our so this will create our style for our app.js, which is display container. So this container ID, which is this, right? So I'm going to copy the whole of this. I'm going to cut it, and then put it in our BMI. So our BMI, right? Okay, so our app.css. It's our app.css, which is this particular app. I'll prefer to style our project in our index.css, right? Because not app.js, we're importing. Are we importing index.css? Okay, so in our app.js, we are not importing index.css. I want to put this here for now, so that we will go to our index.js. I'm going to bring back this. I'm going to import our CSS, right? Import import index, import index, like index to CSS, right? So if I go back to our page, okay. So in our app.js, we need to import. Okay, all these imports here, I'm going to take it back. All these imports, I'm going to take it back to our page, which is this, right? So this is our BMI page, right? So I'm going to put it here. So okay, so Control Z. Let me cut this. Cut it. Let's define our BMI component, and then I'm gonna put this here, right? So that if we go back to our app.js, Control Z. No. Okay, so we need to import this Navbar component. Import Navbar component. Navbar from we're putting it from component. So in components, Navbar to JS, right? So we also need to import our BMI, right? So import BMI body, right? Import BMI body, right? From our component, right? Component / BMI body / what BMI body to JS. So let's go back here and reload. Yeah, so we're not here yet because we need to, we'll go to our app.js, right? And then let's import our BMI now. So import BMI on this page. So in this, we're going to call this component here BMI, right? BMI. So let's go back here for our component. So that's it for now. So we have actually restructured our code to such that we can build our pages on this project, right? So so what we want to do now is to now build our login page. So as usual, our login page, we're going to create our UI for our login page. I'm going to call it login. So we haven't put login and sign up. So I'll limit login, sign up. .js, right? So RFC, right? So now we have this, and then let's go to our app.js. We want to build. So this is what we have now, our BMI. I want to exchange it to our login page so that we will start building. So I'll go to our app.js and import import our login, right? Import login, sign up from this. And so I want to call this Y. Right. Okay, so currently we have in our login sign up page just a text that says login sign up, right? Now, so we have succeeded in actually creating a simple component, a simple UI for our login and sign up. So let's start building this UI to actually look something of this nature, right? So I'm going to start with the background. You can see, if you look at the background, you can see we have an image in the background, and then we have something like an overlay on that image. So we have an overlay on that image. So let's start with that. Let's build the background. So so let's return back to our page. So we have a background. So let's create an asset for our page. I want to name it. So this folder is going to save all our assets, like our images and other assets we have. So I'll call that folder assets, right? So in that assets, I have different categories of assets. I'll create images, right? So I'm going to import all our images on that particular folder. So that folder is going to contain all our images. So we have access to our images, right? Okay. So so what we do now, let us copy our background image to that folder, and then use it to create our background, right? Okay, so we have succeeded in creating a very simple login UI with just a text. Login sign up. Now, what we want to develop in this project is just this simple UI, right? And if you look at this simple UI, you see that you have a background image and then an overlay on that background image, right? Just like we said. So now I have actually copied this login banner to our image folder. You can use any picture of your choice. I'm working with this picture which I got from the internet, right? So now let's start. So our outermost div, which is which actually this particular div, right, has a background image, right? So what I'm going to do to give it that background image is that this outermost div will give it a class name, right? I'm going to give it a class and then say login. I'll call it login container, right? And then I'm calling it login container. And then let's style this background image. Let's style this as login container. To do that, I'll go to my index.css and we'll call it login container. So please, one thing I would advise you is to actually comment. Please comment on your codes, right? So I'm going to call this login page just to show that this style is actually meant for login page, right? Login page. So please develop the habit of always styling and placing comments to actually explain things on your code, right? So this is our login container, which is the outermost container. I'm going to give it a width of 100%, right? And then the height of 100 VH. That's because I want the height to span my depth. So that's because I want the height to span across the entire screen, right? Okay. So I'll get the background image. Now we need to direct where that our image is. Our image is located in assets, right? So go to our assets, images, and then the environment. All right. So if we go back to our screen, you can see this is our background image. This is being repeated, right? Yeah. So so we'll go back here. Let's see. Background repeats. Or see, we don't want it to repeat, right? The background size. Background side, we need cover. So let's go back and see. So this is what we have. So this one we have. Well, so our login page that has a background image that covers around the page, right? So, but if you look at what we have in this picture, we'll see that this background image has an overlay on it, right? So to actually achieve that, what I'm going to do is to go back to our page, our login page, and let's create a div for that overlay, but call it this, right? So let me give the div a class name, and I'll call it overlay. So that we'll go to our style, in our CSS. We're going to style that overlay. So it's a class, and then we'll give it a width to cover around the page. So what this was. But let's give it a height of the same by 100 page. Now, the background color. So we're going to give it a with transparency alpha. So that will be RGB. So the background color, RGBA. So I'll give it black. Black. And then transparency, which is the alpha, that's 0.4. Right. So you see what I have this. So we are succeeded in actually giving our page a background image. Okay, so let's go ahead to actually implement the body of our sign up and sign in a page. So as you can see, let's try to visualize what the layout will look like. Okay, so this is the sign up login page we want to achieve. And if you look at this sign up login page, first of all, you can see that we have these components, which is positioned at the center of the page. So we're going to take this gradually. So let's try to achieve this sign up page. All right. So so far this is how far we have gone. And so I will look at we're going to work on the signing component, which is this part. I've actually drawn the line. All right. So this, we can actually call this a div sent with a background white that is centered at the page. So let's go to that. Okay. So I'll go to my I'll go to my pages, my login, and so we have a div, right? I'm going to call this div. Let me give this div a class name of container, right? I'll call it container. So I'm giving this div a class name of container. Let's go ahead to style this div, right? So I'll go to my index.css and let's style this div, right? Okay, so I'll give this div a width of, let's say, I'm going to call it 30%. Then the height of, I'll give it, let's say, 80%. And then it has a background color of white. what it is FFH. So if we go back, let's see what actually achieved. You can see. So we've actually got to what our div should look like. However, this our div is we need to bring this div, which we have just put to the center of our page. How do we achieve that? Let's go back. So if you look at our page, you can see that the parent of this our container is actually this overlay, right? Okay, so we can style overlay. We can style this display overlay to help us bring container to the center. So let's do that. So if I go, so our overlay now, we have a display of this flex, and then we want to bring the contents of our overlay to the center, right? So we'll do that. We justify contents, center, and align items towards the center, right? So you can see we've achieved this. Now, in this div, as you can see in this div, we can see we have sign up input field. Now, let's divide this into sections. So this is section on its own. So this is section on its own. It's a different section. Each of these are different sections. So we can visualize these as different components that are stacked vertically, right? Okay. So if I agree with that, then that means we can go in here. So we can agree that this container is also take a display of flex. And then the content of this container is stacked vertically. And so you can achieve that in the flex direction of coin. And then in between each, you see, you have some gaps, right? So to achieve that, I also give a gap. Yeah. I will use 10 pixels for now. Right? So let's go back to our login page and let's now start designing each of these. Let's now start designing each of the content of the container. The first we have is sign up and then a line, right? So these two sign up and a line, you can see these two will act as a single component, right? And then let's try to achieve that. So we have a div. Let's give it a class name of sign up. Sign up. So in this div we have a write up. Sorry, wait, what? So in this div we have a write up, which is which one of, let's see, sign up, right? Sign up. Now after the sign up, we'll have a line, a horizontal line. I will represent that line by a div, and I'll give that line a class name, of line, right? Okay. So if I go back here, you can see, right? This is how it looks like. Now, let's start this and let's sort of see the results. So I want to start with this line. I'm going to start with this line. So I will come back to index steps. Okay, let's start with sign up. Let's start with sign up. So if I go back here, so this our sign up is like the container for the container, and then you can see we can give the display of what flex, and then flex direction. Flex direction is common, right? We want to centralize it to justify content is center, right? Align items center. So doing that will bring our text to the center, right? Okay. So now I want to style this our line, which is our div with line, right? So width 70 pixels. So this is div also represent as a line. And then height is 2 pixels, right? Okay. Background color is black. So I'm gonna have something there, right? You can see. Let's see if that's actually the bit. Okay. Between the sign up and the line, we have cap, right? So you can achieve that with. If I will achieve that with this, you can see gap of what? Let me see, 5 pixels, right? So 5 CPs. I will give it 10 pixels. Okay. So before we continue, one more thing. If you go back here, okay. If you go back here, I am not. If you compare it, you see, I'm not comfortable with. I'm not comfortable with the fonts. So we're going to work on the font, and I like using Google fonts. So we're going to pick a font in Google and work with it, right? But before then, let's go back here. This is our container. I want to give our container a pattern of, let's say, 10 pixels. So we have some space around, right? Pattern of 10 pixels. So we have some space around. Okay. So now I want to apply. If we go back to our font family, you can see the kind of font family we're using. I am not comfortable. I'm going to delete this. This came by default. I'm going to delete this font family also. Now to suppress all the styles, default style by our browser, I'll give pattern 0 on match all to 0, right? Now let's use Google Fonts. To do that, I'm going to my browser. I will go to this place, and then let's Google what? I'm going to go Google Fonts, right? So let's browse for Google Fonts. Okay. So I'm going to search for Ubuntu Contents, right? So I'll use this. So to do that, you click on Get Fonts. You go to Google, you click on Get Fonts. Now get embedded code for this particular. So now there are 2 ways you can use it forward. Can I copy the link code and take it to your index.html at the header page? So it links to Google Fonts directly. Or use the inputs. Copy this at the top of your style, right? Okay. So, but I can decide to copy this all the way to this. So, to copy this, take it to your style.css, which is this, where you are styling the file where you style your CSS, and then paste it here. When you paste it here, you can now use that particular font, right? But I will go with this method. I will go with I prefer to go with the link method. So how do I use the link method? You go to link and copy the content of this code. Go back. Go to your index.html. You locate it at your public file, and then paste it in the head, right? So this is the head. So I'm going to paste it here. So this you have imported the font to your project, or that way around is what I've shown you. Copy the import to your style, your file where you are styling the sheet, where you are styling your project. So you import that Google font to this place by using this import statement. But I'll now use the fonts. All you need to do, you can see sample here. You just to copy. So I'll just copy like this, copy it. So that's what I'll use somewhere. I want to use this style my font body, so we're going to give down to all for the other elements, right? So that if I go back to my food, you can see that particular fonts have been applied. So we are done with the sign up now. We need to actually handle these other ones, which are the input, right? So you can see the first one is our enter username, or enter your email, enter phone number, enter password. So let us handle this particular inputs, right? So we are done with the sign up. Let us handle with the next component, which is the inputs. Now let us now move to working on our text input, right? If you look at this after our text inputs, there's this section. You see that it's divided into two. We have this section for the icon, then we'll have the text input, right? So you can see. Well, let's achieve this. Let's go back to our code. Then our sign up. So after our line here, after our sign up, which is the first component after our sign up here, we're going down here to actually work on our input. So I'm going to wrap this section intuitive. And I'm going to this way. I'm giving a class, a class in that actually makes meaning, a semantic meaning, right? So I'll call this input container, right? And if you look at item container, we have two elements in it. We have the icon, we also have the input, right? So for the sake of studying, I will wrap the icon in a div. And I'm going to call it a class name of icon container. Right? Then after the icon, you have an input, right? Input, I'm going to use type text. Then I have a placeholder. Let's say enter your username here, right? Okay. So let us also place the icon. Now, in placing the icon, I'm going to use a React library called React icon. So first of all, I'll go to my package.json and be sure I have React icon installed, right? So if you look at it, we don't have any React icon installed in our dependency, right? So that brings me to something. Now, how do you now? These are the dependencies currently React, right? So dependencies. So that brings us to a topic called dependencies. How do you install? How do you manage dependencies in your React project, right? So now we want to make use of icons. So we need a dependence that will help us actually create React icons, right? So what exactly is a React? What exactly is a dependency in React or in Node, right? So NPM is the world's largest software industry. So it is a default package manager for Node, a popular JavaScript runtime. So it allows developers to discover, share, and reuse code easily, making it a shared tool in Node ecosystem. So So npm, I want you to just notice that npm is the world largest software registry. So more or less, so when you hear the word registry, it's more or less, you think of a store, a place where something is kept, right? So in our own case, it's our software, well, it's a software registry, right? So something is kept there. What was this thing that is kept there? We see it's the default package manager for a node, right? Okay. So dependencies are external code packages or libraries that our project relies on to function properly. So not every functionality comes by default with React. So those external packages or softwares that our project relies on, for example, this is our case, we want to create an icon. And by default, React do not have the functionality to create an icon. So we need to depend on an external package. So that external package that our project depends on also to actually create some functionality, so we can call dependencies, right? So anything outside the default React project that your project will rely on to actually implement some functionalities or to call dependency. And these dependencies are written by developers and kept in a registry, npm registry, right? So how do you now install these packages to your project? You use the word npm install. So the npm install is a command in the npm package manager that allows us to download and install dependencies for our project. So now to install these dependencies to our project, we use what we call npm install, a command. So it reads the package.json file, which lists all the required packages allowed with their respective versions, and install them from the npm registry. So this package is stored from where? From npm registry. Let us go and see what the npm registry looks like. Okay, so if you go to npmjs.com package, you can Google it from here. Now you can search, you have a search, this is the npm registry. You have a search bar where you can search for any library or package you actually need for a project. In our case, we need a library that has purpose handle icons, right? And we have one called the Reactjs icons. So we will search for it in our registry. So click on search. So you can see I'm finding one, the exact match, which is with the Reactjs icons. When you click on it, it gives you instruction on what it is, how to use it, right? Now let's just learn how to use it. So what you need to do is to import that particular icon you want to use. In this case, look at the example of usage, you see, from this library, which is React icons by FA. And then to use it in your project, all you need to do is just to use it as though you are using a component, right? So this particular icon has imported, which is fab here, right? Now, to use it, what do? You use it here just the way you call your Navbar component. Yeah, but that's the way you call it to use it. But very important, it's important for us to actually, how do you now have a visible, how do you have a visual knowledge of what the icon actually looks like, right? You can't just come to npm and begin to copy any icon. You need to know what the icon looks like. So to do that, you go to your machine documentation, right? But why this is doing, let us install, how to install this particular icon registry. To do that, you do npm install iPhone install Reactjs icons. Let's install this in our project. So I'm going to copy this, go back to our project. Now let me open a new terminal, PowerShell terminal. So we have two terminals, right? Expand this. So I'm going to place this here. So you need to have internet to actually go this command and we'll go to the npm registry and download this library, right, to our project, right? Now, once this is downloaded to your project, if you go to your package.json, you're going to see it written. You can see it. It is So it's going to be registered in our package.json under dependencies, which shows that this particular library, this particular package have been installed to our project. Now, what use an icon? And in our case, I need an icon for, if I go to our login, which we're working on, I need the icon that represents our username, right? That will more or less be like the user face, a face of a human being or something, right? So, which you will find in many website or many application. Okay, so I'm going to come back here. So, like I said, to actually have a visual knowledge of what it's going to look like, you click the documentation for this React icons, which I did by clicking here. So let's go and see what it looks like. Now, these are the various React icons we have. I'm looking for user, right? Which is like a username. So one is like user. So you can see we have different React icons. So I can see we have a lot of icons here. And I think I'll be interested in this, right? This, click on it. And then it shows you it shows you the code to use, right? So what you need to do is to copy this and import it into, go to the page, which is where you want to use, which is this, and then import it out. And then import it to this, import it. It has been imported. Now to use it, let's go back to the site. To use it, all you need to copy this, copy, and then let's go back. I want to insert the icon here, right? If I remember, okay, icon container space here. So what you do is just to paste it here, and that's all. So you just import this particular icon from React icons, and then use it here, right? So if I go back to our project, is what I'm saying. So we have this now imported to our project. What we need to do now is to actually style this so can have something that looks almost exactly like what we have on our screen here, right? So let's attempt to style it. First of all, you can see that these two things, the icon and the input, are aligned at the side of each other, right? So I'll achieve that with the parent component, which is the div that covers this, right? So I'll give it a display of flex and then a flex direction row like that. So it's going to align it that way. So I'll go back to my code. So what I'm saying is this input container is what we'll style first. So I'll go back to index.css and then let's scroll down. So we have the last time it was line, so I will do this. So this go to take a display of what? Flex. And then it's also going to take a flex direction of row, right? And then let's see cap. Yeah, so okay. But let's see what it looks like first. So we'll go back here. And then we can see it's actually being aligned properly, right? And then I also want to okay, so you can see that we now have our icon and then our text inputs stacks beside each other. So we need to actually bring it to the center and make it look exactly like this, right? Like what we have here on this picture. So let's go back and work on that. I'll go to our login.signup page, and if you look at our login.signup page, you'll find out that we have a container class that wraps, which is the white box that wraps on other items, and then we also have the input container, which houses the input and the icon. So now to bring the item to the center, we will need to style our container class, which is the parent div. So to do that, I'll go to our index.css and then scroll to where I have my container class. So currently, to bring this item to the center, I would align items to the center. This will bring all items in that container to the center. You can see from our output that it's already at the center. We have our icon, our input, our text input, which we also need to style. All right. So to do that, we'll go to our login.signup page, and let us take our input container, which is the div that houses both the text and the icon itself. Okay, so already we have given it a styling of display flex and flex direction of 1. So let us increase the width so that we have 80%. We're going to make the height 50 pixel. Then we'll look at the background color. I'll get the background color of 80. So we'll also look at okay, currently if you look at it, you see that we're having the kind of width we have. However, our text box and our icon is still not styled. So this input container is a parent container that houses both the text box and our text and our icon. So at the moment, let's go back to our login sign up and see what we have. So now you can see that we have our text input, which is please enter your username here. We have styled our input container, which is the parent input. So for us to style our text box, we need to give it a class name. So we're going to give it a class name of input content. Right. So we're going to copy this and go to our index.css and then style that particular input. So we'll give it a background color of we'll give it a background color of transparent. We'll also give it an outline of none. We'll give it a border, also give it a border of none, so that we're going to remove the borders of the text input, and then ensure that our background is also transparent. Okay, so if we do that and go back to our side, we can see that our text box, our UI is looking like what we exactly have. Okay, so we want to give our text box a border radius. We want it to look exactly like the picture we are trying to build, like the UI trying to build. We'll give the border radius of 50 pixels. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. Okay, I think this is the wrong place to have placed the border radius. Okay, we're trying to style we're going to give the parents component the border radius, not the text input itself. So I'm going to fix back my border to none. So this border radius, we'll put it at our input container, which houses our inputs and our icon. So we're going to give it a border radius of 50 pixels, so that we have those cover the four part of our two. So this is what we have. I think these two. Let me reduce it. I think I'll prefer to make it 40 pixels. So we'll go back and change from 50 pixels to 40 pixels and see what it looks like. I think okay. Okay. So I think okay. So now we want to bring our icon to the middle, right? So if we go back to our login sign up, we have a div that has a div of icon container that houses our icon. So this icon container is the parent to our icon. So we're going to take advantage of that div to bring our icon to the center, right? So to do that, we need to go back to our index.css and style that our icon container. So icon container is a class, so we use a class selector, and so this is exactly what we're trying to achieve to bring this div to the center. We'll give it a display flex of display of flex, and then we'll give it display flex. Then align items, justify content center, and then align item center. So this will bring our icon to the center. This will centralize our icon. Let's go back and see what it looks like. So our icon is now at the center. However, we need to further style it so that we can shift this icon a bit to the right. So to do that, we need to add some form of margin to the parent div of our icon. Let's go back to our code. We're going to give it a margin. So we'll give it a margin. Right, so we'll give it a margin of I'll give it a margin of 10 pixels. So if we do that, our icon is going to go shift a bit. You can see okay, so we need to style our icon. So to do that, we need to go back to our login sign up page, and then currently our icon does not have any class name. So we're going to give our icon a class name of icon. And so after doing that, we'll go back to our index.css to style the icon. So let's copy our icon, go to index.css, and then begin to style our icon. I want to increase the size of my icon, so I'm going to increase the font size. I'm going to font size of let's say 16 pixel, right? 16 pixel. So let's see how it appears on our screen. Okay, that looks good. Increase the icon further. So I'll increase the icon from 16 pixel to let's say 20 pixel, so that it gives me exactly what I'm looking for. So let's see how it looks now. Okay, I think this is fine. Now we can leave it at this. So I think this is fine. So we'll come back to our code, and then we'll go to our login sign up component. So I think I want to also increase the size of our input content, right? So that whenever a user is typing in that content, it will be visible. So I'm going to increase the content and I'll go to our input content styling and give it a font size of 14 pixel. I think 14 pixel is fine. So let's type in and see how it looks like. Okay, I think look at Malachi. I think the text the text size is okay. So if you look at the design we're trying to replicate, you can see that all the text box are actually the same except for the icons and then the placeholders. So rather than writing this code several times, you can build this as a single component and then call it as much as we want to write other text input. So I will just write this enter username and then the enter username text box, and then call it to actually be used for the email and other phone number, password, and other text component we want to use. So now we have built the components already. So what we need to do is go to our code and copy this code as a component and then call it other places. Well, let's do that. So I'll go to our component folder, and then let's create a folder that houses our input component. So I'll create a folder, and I'll create a folder and call it, let's say I'll call it input form, right? So create a folder. That folder is going to house both our CSS and our component for our input. So I'm going to call the name of that folder input form. So in that input form, we'll write our CSS. Don't forget the pattern we're using, that both our CSS and our component are housed in the same folder. So let's create our component. I'll create it input form.jss, which is going to house our component, right? Then we'll also create our CSS file. We're going to style that particular component. So I'll call it input form, let's say .css. So that is where we're going to. So we're going to cut all our CSS from index.css and bring to this place. So you go to your input.js. Let's create our component. So RFC, which is a shortcut to actually create a component in our Visual Studio Code. So after doing that, this is now our component. We are going to import our CSS into this component. So I import it from import form.css. So I haven't done that. Our CSS is now being incorporated into this component. So all we need to do is go back to our login sign up, and our index.css and copy the necessary files. So this is what we want to bring back to our company. Want to bring back to input form. So I'll go to login group login sign up. Then let's cut that particular component. You can see it's going to start from input container. So if you remember, the input container houses all everything that has to do with the input, both the text box and the icon. So I'm going to just cut it and then take it down to our created component. We are going to paste it, and then having done that, we also now cut our CSS to our CSS file. So if you are with me, just highlight it and then cut it, right? So when we cut it, we are still going to import it to the same position as component in this our parent component. So our login sign up page is now the parent component. So we'll go to our child component, which is input form, and then delete what is there and then paste this. So we have everything that concern our text input being written in this component. So we are going to do the same thing to our CSS. So we'll go to index.css and cut our CSS from there, so that our input form will now stand as a separate component. So I'll go to our input form. So I'll go to locate our input container. So cut from our input container down to the end. So which is all the CSS that has to do with our input text input. So cut it down to login container, down to the icon. So we'll take it now to the CSS of our component, which is input form.css, and paste it there. Haven't done that. So on the exact position where we actually cut our input content, we need to import that component in that particular position. So first of all, in our parent component, which is login signup.js, we need to import our input form component, which is the child component, right? So to do that, just type import and then the name of our component. Then we import it in the location where we're importing from, which is content input container and the rest. So currently we are going to be having an error because if you look at this icon is imported in our parent component from React icons. But if you go back to our child component, which is import from JSS, we actually use this particular icon, but it's not imported in this file, right? So we expect that it's going to give us an error. However, let's go back to our parent component login signup.js and let's continue working. So we have imported this input form component. So let us now let's now insert the component at the position where we need it. So to do that, just like since this is JavaScript, you use your curly braces and then import the component, right? So like I said, you are getting an error because in our input form we're using an icon which is unknown, it's not defined. So let's go back and fix this in our input form. All right. So since this input form is going to be dynamic, we want to make it dynamic, so such that at the parent component we're going to define the icons we'll use for this particular component. So let's give the component a props of icons, so that our component will be our child component will be expecting a props. And rather than do this, let us now put the props here in our child component, which is input form. So our input form component, which is the child component, will be expecting a property called icon. So where we are calling that particular component, we need to pass in that property, right? So icon is equals to, so we now passing that face user icon. Remember that that particular icon is imported in this our file, which is React icons React icons up, right? So now with this, now we have done justice to everything is fine. The error is gone away. So if we go back, you can see nothing has changed, exactly the same thing. Now we also need to make it dynamic. Don't forget that we also have other part of the component, like the placeholder and the type, which you also need to make dynamic. If you look at the diagram, you can see that the placeholder are different. That of password, for example, is of type password. So we have type text and type email. So we need to build our project so that these types and the placeholder are also dynamic, so that in our child component, which is input form.js, we are going to make our type. In this case, we are using text. We'll make it dynamic, and also our placeholder. We'll also make our placeholder also dynamic, right? So just like we did for the icon, right? We also need the same thing. We also need to do the same thing for the placeholder and also the type. So our child component, which is input form, will also be expressing a type, and let's call the other one a placeholder, right? So of course we have the structure. These three props are the, so where we have placeholder, we'll have type, we're going to pass in the props, which is type props that our child component is expecting. So that from our parent component, we'll pass in what that props is. So in our placeholder, we'll also pass in the placeholder property, which is which we call placeholder, right? So that when we go back to our parent component, which is login sign up, we're going to pass all these as properties, so that our input form will actually use them. So we'll go back to our parent component, which is sign up, right? So we'll pass in that sign up. We're expecting, remember our child component is expecting a type, right, and a placeholder. So let's pass in our type. And in this case, this is for username, so the type text, right? Okay, so type will come to text. So we also do the same thing for the placeholder. So for placeholder, remember we'll say enter your username here. So with this now, our component is now dynamic. We can instead of writing this particular UI again, this particular component for each UI, all you just do is to call that child component, which is input form, and then passing the proper properties we need to pass in, the proper props we need to pass in, and then lives become easy. That's what makes React actually make React have advantage, because everything is easy to componentize, right? So okay, so you see, to explain further, so our input form component, which is the child component, is expecting an icon, a type, and a placeholder. It has rendered those particular three properties in its UI. So now our parent component, which is login sign up, is passing those particular props as property when it's calling our input, the child component, which is input form. So we are passing our type text, placeholder, enter your username here, and also the icon, which is in that case is a face user icon, which we're going to use, right? So if you do that, you have actually succeeded in making this our child component input form a dynamic form. So now all you just need to do is to replicate this particular. You just to copy. That's where in our case we want to use it, I think 4 times. All we do is just to copy and paste it, right? And then subsequently we'll now pass in the proper icons, the proper types, and the proper placeholder for different. So you can see we have copied and pasted. We have very similar things, right? So in our case, in this case, you see we need 4 of these components, right? So we're going to copy and paste it, let's say 4 times. So we'll have 2 now. Let us copy and paste it again. So paste it again. So we have we're having 4, right? You can see it. So subsequently, what we need to do now is now to pass in the right icon, the right placeholder, and the right type, depending on the components, depending on what we want the user to enter, right? So if you look at our design, you see that we have username, we have password, we have an email. So to actually implement this in our own design, we need to pass in props from the parent component to child component, so that all our icons and placeholder becomes dynamic, right? Just like we have here, right? So to do that, we'll go to React icons and then search for email icons, which is the next input we want to work on. So I think I'm going to pick this. It imports your icon into your file, right? So and the import it at the top of the file. So you see, I'm importing this icon which I selected from React icons to the file. So I'll go down to my components where I want to pass in the props. So instead of passing in the username, the format icon, we pass in this icon. And the type is supposed to be an email, and then the placeholder is enter your email here. It's not username. So if I go back to our work, you see that we have actually, the icon has actually changed and the placeholder has also changed, right? So the next we need to work on now is our phone number. So let's look for an icon or React icons that we can use for the phone number. So I'm going to pick this. So you just copy it, and then as usual go to your file where you want to use it, which is and import it, which is in our case is the login and sign up page. So I'm going to import that icon. If you look at the icon, you see that we're importing these 2 icons from the same location. So instead of splitting it in 2 lines, all I'm going to do is to import it, the both icon in 1 line. So I'll just copy this and take it to line 2. So in line 2, I'm using name transport to import those 2 icons. So I will not need line 3 again. I want to delete it. Let's pass that icon now as a props to the 3rd input component. So we have our phone number icon, and so our type will also remain the same, while our placeholder will change. So in this time, we want users to enter their phone number, so it will enter your phone number here, right? So we'll now look at the last text box which we want to work on, which is the password, right? So password, I think I'll prepare something that looks like a padlock. So I'll go to React icons documentation and search for password. I can see a lot of options, so I'm going to pick one. So I think I'll prefer this. So as usual, you copy and then import that icon to your file. So I'll scroll to the top and then import that icon to our file, right? So I'm going to pass that icon now as a props to the child component, so that our text box is now carrying the icon, the padlock icon, right? So just put it. So our type also change. Let's have some kind of our type on our page that will change. We say enter your password here. Okay, so if we go back to our design, we can see I think I'm not cool with the spacing. We need to increase the spacing between these components so to make it look better. To do that, okay, so I'll go to our index.css, which is where we are styling that the parent UI, and look for the container class, right? So currently we have 10 pixels as the gap between the, so I'll change to 15. So I think this is better. So this is better. So I think it's going to look, it's looking better now. That's fine. If we go back to our design, the next we need to look at is the lost password, and click here. So all right, so to do that, I'll go back to our sign up page, and the next, now we're going to create a div for our forgot password. So I'll create a div and give the div a class name of let's use forgot password, right? So don't forget that we have 2 different words. We say lost password and click here. Click here has a different styling from, if you look at it, you see that click here has a different styling from lost password. So let us type lost password now, because we want to style click here differently from the lost password. So we're going to put that click here in an HTML tag, which is a spam tag, so we can have the privilege of styling it differently, right? So we'll type so the text is click here. So if you lost your password, or you do click here, right? So I think I made a mistake. Okay, it's supposed to be span, not I can see it. So we need to delete. All right. So if we look at go back to our design, you see that we need a bit of space between the last input component and the lost password. You can see there's a bit of space at the top, so we need to take care of that margin. And then click here also has a different styling, as you can see. All right, so I will just copy our class name, which is forgot password. That's what we want to style. That's the class name for the div that houses the component. So you can see that our system like the design needs some space, right? So go to index.css, and then let us style that particular forgot password class name, which is the div that houses the forgot password, right? So I'll use a class selector, which is dot. I'll use dot and then class, right? So we want to first of all give the margin top, which is the space between the last input component and the forgot password. I'm going to give a space of 10 pixel. And so the next we actually need to look at is the span. So I'll use a child selector, which is which targets the spam. That means any tag called spam that's a child of the class forgot password. What I want to do to that is to change the color. So I'm going to use 797979, yeah, so that our styling for our span has a bit different color. So if we go back to our design, we'll see that if we go back to the click here, I want my users to be able to, the cursor to change to something that looks like the answer. My user will know that it's a clickable text. So to do that, I will go to our forgot password is span and change the cursor to pointer, so that when users highlight on that particular text, it becomes a pointer. Also, users know it's clickable, right? I also want to give it a margin left that is a bit away from the forgot password to give it a better look, right? So if I go back to our design, you can see it's not better. It's now a the cursor is now a pointer, and we have a margin away from the lost password, right? So if we go to the diagram of what we want to achieve, at this point we have designed the page where we don't enter the lost password. Click here. Now we want to achieve this button. That's login and sign in button. Okay, already in our project we have a component we created, a button component we created for our BMI page. So we're going to use that same button for these buttons. However, if you look at this page, you find that we have two buttons that are aligned side by side each other. Alright, so to achieve that, let's go back to our code. So we're going to create a div for our button. I'll create a div for our button, and then I will give this a class name. This div a class name. I'll call it button container. Okay, so already we have a button we created for our BMI, which is, if I go to our component, you can see this button is called the component is button, right? Okay, you can see that even the button has a button container. So we have a button container, ID button container, yes. So we have a button created. Then we have a CSS that is tied for our button. That's the button container and this. So let us import this button and use it currently in our these buttons, and it's currently in our login. This button is expecting a props called action text, right? And this action text, the text that is being passed to the button. So action text, right? So I'll copy this. So let's go back to our login sign up page, and we want to import this button to our page, right? So we're going to import this button to our page, and don't forget the first test we have is what? Sign up. So which is, and this is expected, this action test is expected as a props to the child component, which is button component, right? Okay, so let's go back and see what this looks like. To this sign up, right? Okay, that's good. We're getting closer. So we have two of those buttons, which the second one is we'll go back to what we want to achieve. Come back here. So one is login, right? Login. So I'll go back. We'll have what? Login. So this one is login, right? Okay. So let's go back. So we have sign up with the login. So you can see that the width of our button, we need to go and work on the CSS for our button. So it looks exactly like what we have, what we want to design, right? So I'll go back to my button and I'll try to work on the CSS property of the button. So let me go to my button page, my button component. So my button component, we have a button. We also have a button container with ID. So let's look at this, what the CSS look like. So the button container, say justify, so it takes the center. Then for this button, you see we said a width of what? 50%. I'm going to change to 100%, right? So the button is taking 100%, right? So if I go back, so this is 100%. So the button is 100%. Flex, justify. So let us increase the pattern of this button. I think I'm okay with, let's try 5, right? 5. I want to use 10. I think I'll be okay with 10. Padding of 10, right? 10 pixel. Okay, so 10 pixel, right? Okay, so the border radius, I'm not looking for the border radius. I'm going to put the border radius of 10 pixel. Let's see what this gives us. 10 pixel. So I will increase it further to 15 pixel. Let's see. So okay, so Okay, so let's go back to our login sign up. So if you look at what we want to achieve, our buttons are aligned side by side. Our page currently, the buttons are stacked on top of each other. So to achieve this, I want to work on this button container class. So let's go to our index of CSS, and let's I'll do this. So display will be what? Flex. Display will be flex, right? And gap, let's give gap of 10 pixels. Right, so if I go back, we'll have our button stacked, right? Okay, I think I still want to do some more styling to our button component. So I'm going to use padding. I'll use padding 10, 10, up and down 10. The right to repeat more. So that we'll have, okay, that's fine. I'm going to use 25. So we're seeing up padding, down padding 10 pixels, while the left and right should be 25 pixels. So if I look at it, this is what we have. So we now have, let's go back to I want this button to go down a bit. So I'll come back to here. And in this, I'll give you margin top of, let's say, 20 pixels, right? So if we go back. So I think we're okay with this design. This design is better. You can see the buttons are not clickable for some reasons. So the buttons, I want to change the pointer, cursor pointer, right? So for these buttons, I'll go back to the buttons.css component, and I'm saying for this button, I want the cursor to be pointer, right? So that by the time we'll go back, can see. So this is what we have. Okay, if you look at the design we are trying to actually develop or implement, you see that we have a signing button, a login button, the sign up button. What we want to achieve, you can see that when we click on the signing button, on the login button, it takes us, it renders the page and display for us the login component. When we click on the sign up component, it shows exactly what we have just designed, right? So to implement that, we need a form of logic to it, such that when you click on the button, when you click on this button, it takes us to the right components. You click on the login button, it takes us to the right component, right? So I will go back to my code and refactor my code. So what I want to do is that, because if you look at our design, when we click on the login button, the only thing that will change is basically what you had, the input we have here, right? And also probably the sign up will change. The sign up text will now change to login, right? And then we will, and then this lost password, click here. This should show where you have the login screen or sign up screen. You shouldn't be seeing lost password login here, right? So all this is part of the logic we are going to incorporate with our page, right? So to start, let's go back to our code. And what I want to do first of all, because our form is going to be changing based on the button we click, right? I want to take off the input form as a separate component on its own. So I'll go and create a function. So I'm going to create a component in the same file, like in this same file, right? So I'll create a function and call the function sign up, right? Sign up. Okay. So I'll create another function. So this function is actually going to return a JSS, like we said, right? I'm going to put it in this, right? So since this is our sign up function, what we want to do is that all these sign up form created here, we are going to cut it. We are going to cut it and take it to our to our sign up component, right? So I'll put it here, right? So at this point, I don't necessarily need to put all this query places, which is trash. So I'm going to delete all these query places, right? So simply our sign up form is returning 4 input text box, right? Just like which are components we actually wrote in our component folder, right? So that's all our sign up button is going to return, right? So let me adjust it. Then once I auto save, my PTR will take care of it for me, right? So back to our page where we have this, right? So I'm going to bring in the sign up form, and don't forget the JSS. So to put JavaScript in it, you have to actually use a curly braces. So I'll call this data function which I created, which is sign up. So nothing will change. It should give me the same, right? So you can see nothing has changed. So we'll see about sign up form. Now while I'm doing this, I want to create a login for, and our login is going to create a login form, right? And our login is going to have just our username and password. So in the login form, we are not going to have this really true will be absent, right? Our login form. So let's go back and actually do that. So I'll go back to where we created our sign up function. Now I'm going to create for our login, for the variable login, right? So it's a function, and this function will return a JSS. Unlike our sign up profile, we're just going to have only 2 text input, which is in our case it's just the username, right, and password, and then the password. So the password is the last component, right? Username and then password. Okay. So that's it. So for us to see what we have done, so where we have sign up, I'm going to change the login. Let's see. Login. Let's be sure we're getting exactly what we worked on. So okay, sorry, let me go back. I don't know why. Let's go and see. Login. Oh, we did return. So return, right? So we're returning login, right? Login. Yes, why am I getting this? Lane. Oh. Okay, so we are returning the login. We're returning 2 text input. So if I return back, I'm going to see exactly that, right? So we still need to work on this our page to actually look better. But before then, let us now work on the logic such that when we click on login, you take us to login, or click on sign up, take us to sign up. And this write-up also change. This also will also change based on the button that is being clicked on. So that's what I will work on. Okay, so currently we have 2 buttons. We have the sign up button and we have the login button. We also have 2 different components now, which are written in the same file. We have the sign up component. We also have the login component. Now I want to render this component both based on condition. This is known as conditional rendering. And what is condition? The condition is simply when the sign up button is clicked, we want to render the sign up component. And when the login button is clicked, we want to replace it and render the login component, right? So don't forget I said something in. Don't forget I said in there. One of the things that helps you to render a component is a change of state, right? So when a state changes, components are rendered. So look, coupling these modules together, how can you achieve this? You can define a state and then on the click of the button, the state is changed, and then components are rendered based on the current state, right? So let us see how we can do that. So the first thing we need to do is to actually define a state, right? So in our import file, that's React, we're going to import useState, right? UseState. Which is named import, right? So now, the next one is to initialize the state. What is the state? So I want to call this, so action sets action, right? So use state. So initially we want to set action to sign up, right? And why I'm doing this is that what it means is that initially when our component is first rendered, we want to use when we use state here, right? So I'm wasting my levels. Let me just say it is. So initially when this component is rendered, I want the sign up button to be rendered, right? Okay. So now on the click of any of these buttons, I want to whether sign up or login, I want to change that state, right? So that means we have to implement a logic that will change that state when the button is clicked. And don't forget, when you initialize a state, right, then in a state you couple the state and the state modifier. So in this case, set action is a function that helps modify our state, right? Okay. So we'll say I'll click of any of these buttons. So that means our button component should have an action, right, that is being clicked, right? An action, right, that happens when the button is clicked. So I'm going to take care of that. So let's go back to our button component. So this is our button component, which is under our component folder, right? So that means our props, our button component will also expect a method from the parent component, and I'll call that method change action, right? So what would that method do? So what would I say that on click of this button, we want to call that particular method, so that when we go back to our parent component, we can actually define that particular method or function and return it to our child component. So I'll go back to sign up. Don't forget the name of its action, right? So we're saying we are passing in a props called change action. So these props will be a function, right? So this props will be a function. As you see, I'm calling it a function. And so what did I want to do in this props? So we can see we have sign up. We also have the login. So the point of both of them, the both button will be passing in a props called change action, right? Change action. Okay, so what will this change action do? The simple thing that change action will just change the state. That's what we want to achieve with change action, just to change the state. Okay, for better understanding, let me define the action here. The action that will change state, right? So let us say change. I'm going to call that method change state, change action state, right? So this action state is going to expect a parameter, and I'll call that parameter new action. So when it gets a parameter, all it needs to do is just to change the action state to the new parameter it's getting. So action what? New action, right? That's all. Just for us to even be sure we're getting it, I'm going to log our new action, right? Let's log it so that we can be sure we're getting a return on the new action. All right, so that means in our button component, I'm going to pass this as a method which our parent component will be expecting, right? So if I go to this button component, so I'm going to in this function that our parents, in this button component, which we need to pass the props to our child component. What I'm doing here for the sign up button is just to change the state to sign up, right? So for our login button, what I'm doing is just to change the state to what? Okay. So this all our button component is doing. So just to recap what we have just said, we went to our button component, and then the structure our props to expect another property called change action, and this change action is expected to be a function, right? And what our button is just doing is that on the click of that button, it calls that particular function. So what we need to do in our parent component is go to our parent component and define what that function should be, right? So we'll go back to our parent component, which is login sign up. So this is the property which we are passing to our child component. And what we simply do, what we are passing is just a function. All this function doing, function is calling on that function and passing in a parameter called sign up. And that particular function is the function we just wrote up. And what that function does is just to change the state of action to the parameter to the argument that it receives, right? So in the case of login, we are passing in the sign up. In case of sign up, we're passing the sign up. In case of login, we're passing the login. So at this point, you should be expecting that our states will actually change, right? So let's go back, and let's inspect the log. So when so let me clear this. When I click on login, we're seeing login, sign up, we're seeing sign up. So you can see that currently our login and sign up buttons are actually changing the state, right? Okay. So now we are one step close to solving this problem. So I'm going to delete this log file, this console statement, which we did, which were correct, right? So now let us now use this our action state to perform conditional rendering. So we are saying, don't forget that this is sign up, right? And the data state is login. So what we are saying is that where we are actually rendering these are components, we are going to use what we call conditional rendering. And we are saying if action is equal to sign up, so we use the ternary operator. If action is equal to sign up, let us call, then we can call our sign up component, right? Yes, let's call our login component. So what I've done here is conditional what? Rendering. So I'll say that this action, which is the state, don't forget that our button is changing that state. So but if the state is actually equal to login, the current state equals to login, equals to sign up, let us call the sign up function. And our sign up function is actually our sign up component. Yes, let the program call the login component. So we should be expecting that at this point that if we click on login, or shall we login? If you click on sign up, you should declare the sign up component. So it's working properly, right? On that place, you need to render conditional. You should need to perform conditional rendering in this text, which is what sign up. So we're saying what we want to achieve is that when you click on the login, when the state is actually login, this write-up should change from sign up to login, right? So let's go back to our file, our code, and we perform conditional rendering there. So if you are bringing JavaScript to your JSS, to your markup, you have to use a coding operation, right? So we're saying if action is equal to sign up, right? So let this text be what? Sign up. Yes, won't log in. So I take care of that text. So if I return back now, that is an error. Okay, so if you click on login, you can see sign up, login, sign up, login, sign up. So on that we want to take care of is this our lost password. Click here. So you agree with me that this lost password and this click here should only appear when we are on the sign up, when we are on the login page, right? So supposing you lost your password, you have forgotten your password, you can click here, right? Okay, so let's go back and achieve that. So this whole component is actually for forgot password, right? So what I will do is I will action. Sorry, we have to put in the funny braces, right? So we're saying action is equals towards what to appear only when it's logging, right? Login. Done. Okay, so this time I'm not using, unlike the others, I'm not using a conditional, I'm not using a ternary operator. I'm saying it's only where this is true that this should be declared, right? So login. If I go to sign up, right? Login, sign up, login, sign up, login, right? Okay. So we have actually succeeded in using states to perform conditional rendering. So we declared, to recap, we declared a state called action, and then in our button component, which is a child component, we are expecting a props, which is a function. And what the function does is just to change the state, which is in the parent component, and we render the various components such as the sign up and login component and some of the text based on condition or the current states of our action, right? So that's it. So you can see, you can use this for other projects to similar patterns for other projects, and then you get exactly what the result you're actually looking for. Okay, so one more thing I would like to correct is that if you look at our component, when I click on the log sign up component, it seems to be because I'm having too much space here. After this happened, after I've actually removed a component before this, right? So if I click on the login, also having too much space at the bottom, but that's because we've removed some of the components here, some of the components here based on conditional render, right? But it means that this our white div, the white box here, the white div field, white box here is actually fixed. So I want the white box to be flexible to actually adjust its height based on the component, the size of the component it contains, right? So to do that, I'll go to our CSS. So just if you look at our login, so this container class is actually the white part of our component we're assuming that wraps all these components here, right? So if you look, so I'm going to make the height flexible to adjust based on the content it contains. Currently it has a fixed height, right, to relative to the parent, which is in percentage, but it has a fixed height. So I need to remove that component, that height styling, so that it adjusts its height based on the number of or the size of component it contains, right? So let's go back to our index of CSS. So it's called container. So if I go back to our CSS for container, which is this, currently you can see that the height is 80%. All I just need to do is to roll this out. Right? So if I now go back to our method, you can see it's address. If I click on sign up, so the size of the component is now based on the screen, on the component contain, right? Sign up, bring us here, login, bring us here, sign up, bring us here, login, bring us here, and then that's it. All right. So please, I want to urge you, please, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please do wait to subscribe to receive more of this kind of content. To subscribe to this channel, just click on the subscribe button below.